right, guys, 360 Mix here on this repair that I just finished here. This thing gave me a hard time. So I wanted to talk about it. It's a Lasonic Boombox, I believe it's L-30K. The speakers go on the left, on the right. There they are right there. That's one of the speakers. That's the other speaker. I have them stacked on top of there so I can have room here to work. So yeah, they do go attached on the sides. I'm going to talk a little bit about everything on this. Let me put the phone in the holder. And let's see if we can angle it like that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so first thing first. If you're buying one of these, be very careful because these are, they're scarce, very hard to find, and they were meant when, boom boxes were the rave in the late 70s, early 80s, and even a little bit towards the 90s. And these were not bad boom boxes, but they were the dying fad of the boom boxes, meaning that when these came out, this is made in Taiwan. This was made to cost. Every cost corner was cut here. There's no. And again, if these things bring sentimental value to you, I would stop the video right now because you'll hear me say things that, might hurt your feelings. So these are made to cost, meaning everything here that you see is more of a facade. The plastic is cheap. It's molded plastic, really bad quality, brittle plastic. I'll show you a little bit about the background. It's polished nice, meaning, they have little chrome buttons, but as you can see, everything kind of moves. Nothing is really meant to be precise because it's made to cost. Don't know what these would run for. I would say in today's money, if this was brand new back in the 80s, I would say maybe $100, $120 maybe. In today's money, obviously these are going for a lot more now because they're hard to find. But they do have FM, AM, shortwave. It's indicated here. It's got one mic only right here, not there, even though it's got a cutout for here. It's only on this side. It's got a volume, balance, mono stereo. Tape select is normal, chrome, and metal. You have tape player, you have radio and phono. You can actually connect your phonograph or your record player in the back and record, which is kind of cool. It's got your microphone mix volume. It's got an echo for the microphone, and then you have AM, FM, and shortwave, and then you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 band EQ on this side. Actually, it says it there. Your high-speed dub, your echo. Oh, and there's the model number, L-30K, and a counter. And you got tape player 2 and tape player 1. It should be reversed, but it's not. That's 2 and that's 1. This one records. This one only playback. And your power button and your headphones. But like I said, this is all cheap, plastic, brittle. I mean, I don't even know how this is still standing. But let's talk about the radio portion, the back. Let me show you around. I'm just going to flip it around this way. Okay, and this is the guts on the inside. This is the main PC board that has your tuner, your record, playback, and then your small power supply section here, which is just a filtering capacitor. And then you have your volume and all that stuff there. Your EQ is not up here. I'm going to show the EQ in a little bit. But this plastic, as you can see, it's still a little bent in because of the age. This was a lot worse. I actually used a heat gun and brought it back up a little bit. But look how yellowed these gears are. This used to be, white, and it's turned to yellow because it's very brittle. Let me show you with this red marker here. This is your tuning capacitor here, which is where you select your radio. On this side, here's the dial to select your radio station, which is over here. As you can see, it's this big plastic knob. And there's a string. It's also called a tuner string. And then your indicator, which is in the front, is right there, that little red thing there. So if I move it here, you can see it move left and right. And there's a little LED there, a red, yellow LED, and they're attached through these wires here. Notice how these wires are basically flapping in the breeze. You know, they're soldered, but they're not, nothing is retaining this here, just so you don't stress the solder joints from moving. You know, again, details are really not important at this price range. The whole PC board is covered with varnish. Look at that brown, nasty, you know, all those brown colorations. That's just a solder, like a mask that they put on it for no reason. I changed the capacitor here. As you can see, it's clean on this side because I actually removed the varnish to get to the solder joints because they were full of varnish. This is the beat detect thing. We don't need that right now. So this whole PC board, including everything here, okay, everything right here and here, is all held by 2 screws. Yes, I know. It's this screw here and that screw there. That holds this whole thing. This whole PC board's held by 2 screws. That's how, you know, flimsy and cheesy, if you want to call it that. In the back, you're going to see your speaker output here, your turntable there. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, your turntable's here and your other speaker on this side. There's a wire that goes to the antenna that's on this side, and the power supply and the transformer. I'll get to that in a minute. We have a let's see, where do I start? This is the tape mechanism here. I'm going to get that to the last thing. This here is your power input. Let's see if we can zoom down. You know what? I'm going to go handheld on this. This is your power switch and power to the motors. Okay, so all the power comes from here to here and from there to the motors. This whole section here is held by 1 screw. This little tab right here, this whole card comes right off if you remove that screw. Like I said, everything here is kind of like a 1 screw type of thing. Now we go to this side. This side is going to be the high-speed dub. Let's see if you can see it here. High-speed dub switch and your microphone input. And again, this whole card is held by 1 screw only. And if we look at the EQ, this is the EQ board, which is fairly impressive right here. This is the EQ board. And if I zoom in, let's see if I can get this angle right here. And I'm going to zoom in. You see all the solder joints right there? Let's see if it focuses. Right there. So it's an angled board, 2 PC boards, and they're just soldered all the way across. So if one of those connections break, then, you know, your EQ won't work or something won't work. So again, 1 screw right there holding the whole EQ board, which is impressive. Again, that's why I'm saying build to cost. You know, if you get a Japanese radio, this will have like 5 screws and everything is tied down correctly. Let's move over to the LED lights in the front. That's that board there. They put 2 screws there. Wow. I don't know why they didn't put 1. And then this board here is your echo and your echo for the microphone and microphone amplifier. Very big board just to add echo. This is probably one of those features that they add to it at a later time for different models. One thing that I am going to call impressive, meaning to say something extremely positive about this. The solder joints are actually very good. So I know I mentioned about that, but all of these wires are actually soldered fairly well. So I am impressed with the soldering in here. Again, not the best, but I am impressed with it. All of these cables were all just, bouncing around. I had to put a tie wrap here to secure these wires because I just don't like them moving around. The tape mechanism. Oh my. All right. So the tape mechanism, it's a dual deck tape mechanism powered by one motor with 5 belts. So this guy is doing a lot of work. Okay. Again, that goes to show you cost. One motor, 5 belts to get this mechanism going. This mechanism is not audiophile grade in any way. It is just enough to make it work. I am amazed that on this little switch, they actually put a little coupling capacitor here, a little spark capacitor on both sides, on both switches. I'm impressed about that. I guess it was making noise. Okay, so I'm going to get back. Oh, sorry about that. I might get back to the tape mechanism in a little bit. This is the record lever here. So when you hit the button here on this side, it's a mechanical that goes to the switch here. This long switch right there, which causes a lot of issues. But let me go into the main board. So these are your rectifying, your supply filtering right here. You have a 2-chip amplifier, and they're both 5 watts, which is impressive. So 5 watts here, 5 watts there. That's a nice thing. You have a lot of radio stuff, the very complicated radio section. I mean, here, let me go to the tuner section. We do have a chip down there, but you have a lot of IF stages here. So it's fairly impressive. Also because it has shortwave. So that's probably why. That's your shortwave and FM, AM antenna. Your FM antenna comes out right there next to the power supply, which again is not good. It should come out right here, right next to the tuner. That way you don't get noise. But they ran a cable, this red wire here. They ran it from there all the way over here. Not shielded or anything like that, but that's just the way they do it. There's another chip there. I'm not sure what that's doing. I think that might be a tape amplifier for the tape heads and record section. There are a couple of inductors here, so that tells me that's the record section. Here's the record right here, either record or playback. You have a couple adjustments here, which we don't need to go through, but everything is made to cost here. Everything is, like I said, one screw to hold things down. And the tape mechanism has so many gears and little clutches that go bad. So these little clutches here go bad. This one goes bad. And then that one goes bad right there. And if you buy one of these used and you hear something rattling, don't power it on. That probably means that there's a couple of things, that the springs are actually inside, flapping in the breeze, which is not a good thing, because if you get the little metal spring over here on the contacts, you can short something out and you're just going to cause more damage. So, yes, the tape mechanism, very, very flimsy, but it does work. That's all I can say. Now, this whole piece here, which is the actual radio body, weighs, without the speakers and the amplifier, I'm going to guess that this weighs easily 3.5 pounds. No. Yeah, about 3 to 4 pounds, this whole thing. Okay, now I'm going to bring this down for a minute. And I'm going to get the back cover. This is the back cover, and I'm going to move this out of the way. This is the back cover here. And this is where you would have the battery in the bottom, which we'll open in a minute. The antenna, the handle, and then where the speakers clip on the left and on the right. So the problem with this is that this here weighs more, almost weighs as double as the actual radio. This here, this big transformer, weighs more than anything. Weighs more than the actual radio. This lump of metal right there, that's the transformer. The plastic is so brittle on this that if you hear something clunking inside, it's because this completely detached from the frame. It just broke off. It's held by 2 screws on this side and that side. And it's just flapping around because this is literally about almost 4 pounds, this alone. And that's because the plastic is really brittle and very cheaply made. This is just the craziest power selection, which I left it here. But if it was my radio, I would just get rid of it. Oh, here's the antenna wire that goes from here to there, and that goes to the motherboard. So let's get rid of that for now. So this here is a tape select, not a tape, sorry, a DC select, which is this right here. It's this right here, your 12 volt input. Then you have your AC DC select here. So if you're running it on AC, you put it here. If you're running it on DC, you put it here, and it automatically switches. Why they did this, not sure. They could have easily used the little, because it doesn't have the little tab. That's why. So yeah, so they had to do this. This is the beat cut, which it's not there right now. But they did this whole board here. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 diodes to do a 12 diodes using I think it was 1N4001s, if I'm correct, or 4s. I replaced them. So they just have them in parallel. In parallel. I mean, I've never seen such a thing. It's to, hold a little bit more amperage, but you don't need it. This whole thing consumes less than 1 amp. Even when high-speed dubbing, I already saw that it just barely goes to 1 amp, and then it goes back to like 700 and under. They have a smoothing cap here, which was, believe it or not, was fine. I didn't change it. There was really no need to. The other two were really bad. This is your voltage selection switch here. This is the way it comes. I glued this thing down. I just epoxied this thing down. Like I put a big blob of epoxy and glued this stuff down so it doesn't go anywhere. So if you get this radio... Oh, the handle, by the way, the handle was bent. I bent it back as best as I can. This is like super thick plastic. I mean, super, super thick plastic. I took a heat gun to it and put it back together. As you can see, it's fairly straight now. It's as straight as it's going to get. Let me go back into the battery compartment here, which I didn't do. I can't believe this video is 20 minutes explaining a radio. So a battery compartment takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 D-cell batteries, which you're not going to use. You can retrofit a 12-volt battery, LiPo or whatever battery, and just connect it to the poles here and later on charge it. Here's your power cable. Oops, I knew that was going to happen. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the radio itself. And like I said, this plastic is extremely brittle. Be careful when you buy them. Again, they were built to cost. This is not Japanese. This is not high-end at all. but it's a facade. It's a radio facade. It looks cool. I would not travel with it because when you even put the speakers on, they just clip down, but there's no locking mechanism. So if you push one of the speakers up, the speaker will fall down, which are right here. I didn't show you those 100%, but it's a, I don't know, like a 5.5, 6-inch speaker here. It's got a tweeter right there, and then that's an actual LED that lights up when you have it at good power. So that lights up. That's your tweeter. That's your speaker, and they connect via an RCA cable right there to the back of the unit. And let me just flip this around one more time. So your speaker, left speaker goes there, right speaker goes there, and then your phono input goes right there. And it looks like they probably had a provision there for something else. Who knows? They just didn't do it, so it's blanked out. So let's look at the little thing there, made in Taiwan, L-30K, Lasonic, and there's all the specifications there, right there. There you go. By the way, it's not fused in any way. There's no fuses, so if something sparks in there, it's just going to burn up. They decided not to put a fuse. Actually, it has provisions for a fuse. Let me show you where the fuse should go. Right here. Right here, you see the little lugs right here, so different sizes. So you have the end here, and then the smaller fuse will go here, or a larger fuse will go here. They just took it completely off and soldered the input directly to this. So again, if something shorts inside, it's just going to smoke up until it burns up, because there is no fuse. So that is your Lasonic. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Sorry for the 21 minutes of explaining nonsense to you, but I really did want to document this whole radio in full. Take care, guys. 360 Mix.